Mark Speckman is just like any other head coach. He wants his players to be prepared and succeed in meetings, practices, games, and ultimately in life. There is one difference, though. This head coach, now in his 10th year at Willamette University, was born without hands. But that never stopped him.
My parents were real supportive of me trying things and riding a bike or climbing trees. Nobody ever told me I couldn't do anything. And so as a result, football seems like, it was on TV, and I just like any other kid, I said, well, I'd really want to do that. Figure it out, man. I just think I had a thick skin and a spirit about myself that I was going to be able to do things. I think sports was a big equalizer. If you show competence, they don't really care what you look like. If you're good, you kind of get accepted. To reach our potential, we have to learn that we have this ability to figure it out. My parents had a great vision for me. I was born without hands. I was born with 9 toes. There's no books on raising no-handed kids. There's no instructional video that came with me. There was no club for no-handed kids' parents. They just intuitively knew that for me to survive, I had to be able to do things, because that's how our society is. We have to do things. They just intuitively knew that. And in order for me to reach my potential, one of the things I have to do is I have to use this God-given ability that all of us have, and it's called figure it out. Just figure it out. I am so much better at it than you, it's not even funny. I'm awesome at it. I look at a situation and I make a decision right now how I'm going to be able to drive a car, how I'm going to be able to eat at a restaurant. All those things, I figure it out fast. You all have that ability. You just don't have to figure it out as often as I do. I have to do it every day. Every day. I liken it to people that are blind actually hear 30% better than people with sight. And the reason blind people hear about 30% better than people with sight is because they have to. The reason I'm better than you are at figuring it out is because I have to. When we cross the street, we look and we listen. If all of a sudden you didn't look, your listening would get better in a heartbeat. We have the potential to hear better, we just don't use it. We have the potential to figure it out, we just don't use it. And I've had to use it. I've had to use it. A lot of times when I travel around the country, I stay at hotels, and I'm tired, and I just want to get to the hotel and crash. And I get to the room, and it's the handicap room. I didn't ask for the handicap room. Nothing wrong with the handicap room. It's just designed for people in wheelchairs. In fact, it's worse for me because you got to hold the shower thing, so I'm kind of shy. I'm washing the ceiling. I'm spraying the entire bathroom down. I'm going, the handicap room is handicapping me further. Somebody just assumed I needed this. I didn't ask for it. Now I ask. People assume I can't do things. People assume that I can't do anything. And the reality is I have so much potential, I can do all kinds of things. For me as a kid, sports was huge for me because it was a place where I could compete just like everyone else. And the sport that I chose was football. And I played high school football, and I was a linebacker in college, and I started 40 college football games. Quite proud of that. And thank you. And I'd be out at practice with the rest of the team, and the coach would be explaining how we're going to tackle. And I would be listening, but you know what I was doing? I wasn't listening to him really. I was figuring out, well, how am I going to do it? How am I going to tackle? But I've got this ability. I'm fast, and I was figuring it out fast. How am I going to catch the ball? And the problem with figuring things out is we always assume there's only one way to do something. Most people are linear thinkers. Most people just assume you can't do things. Most people assume I need a handicapped room, or I can't do things because I have a handicap. Most people assume you can't thrive in this economy. Most people assume businesses have got to go down. There's all these assumptions. And I think you just got to think differently. I think you got to think outside the box. And that's what Figure It Out's helped me do. Last thing I want to talk about, nobody ever showed me how to play baseball. And I never really even wanted to play baseball. My brother just came home one day, and he had a baseball uniform on, and I said, that is cool. And I wanted that uniform. And he said, well, it's too bad, you got to be 12, and I was 10. Then he threw me the glove. He said, let's go play catch. And I said, awesome, let's go. And I thought it was the base, because I'd seen a game on TV, and I put the glove down. And he said, are you going to use the glove? I said, it's a base. He said, all right. He threw me the ball, and I caught it. and it hurt. I went, ow. I said, hey, why aren't you using the tennis ball, that Nerf ball? He said, it's a hardball league. I said, ooh. So I could throw well. I threw the ball back, and I watched. I figured it out fast. I looked at him, and he had the base on his hand. And when the ball got to it, it made that cool sound. And I said, okay, I got to put the thing, it's a catching thing. And I put it on like this, and I don't know if it's hand-eye coordination, but I had, whatever you call it, and it came, and it hit, and the glove and the ball went flying. And you would think my brother would say, hey, let's go play Scrabble, And he's just screaming at me, you got to get it done or not? I said, I got it. And I put the glove down, I threw the ball, and I watched, and I got to try harder. And I put it on, and boom, went flying. And then I realized I got a problem going on here, all right? There's a real issue here with this catching thing. And I was panicked, so I just put the glove in front of my chest, and I let the ball hit my chest and fall into the glove. So, bam! Then I had to put the ball down, pick it up, throw it, bend down. So I'm getting a cardiovascular workout as I'm getting beat up. And I'm thinking, man, baseball's violent. Baseball is violent. So finally my brother's arm got tired before I spit up a lung. And we went in, and I lay on the bed, and I went, that didn't go well. And I'm 10 years old. But you're kind of resilient. After a couple hours, I could move. And it was bath night at my house. And my dad was always working, and he was a blue-collar guy. And I took my shirt off, and I was walking down the hall. And my dad came home from work, and he looked, and there's just bruises and blotches everywhere. And he said, what happened? And I was kind of proud of myself. I said, well, I was playing baseball. And you could just hear the wheels in his brain just grinding, going, what do you mean? Did the kid next door take a bat and hit you? Because he did not like the kid next door. He'd do anything he could. Go hit that guy. I said, nah, Dad, he wasn't even there. He said, well, what happened? And I said, well, Dad, I didn't have a glove. I was just going to the bath. I said, well, Dad, I was a catcher. Mike was pitching. And I put the glove in front. The ball hit my chest. Duh. Because in my 10-year-old brain, that's how I did it. No big deal. I'd figured it out. I'll never forget, my dad kind of hit me in the head. He said, you're going to kill yourself playing baseball. I don't want you to do that anymore. And I remember thinking to myself, Dad, if I ever write a book, you're going to hate chapter 3. Because that is the worst parenting I've ever heard. But he was right. And I laid in bed that night, and I had to figure it out. And the thing is, everybody thinks you assume there's just one way to get it done. Assume one way to do business. Assume one way to win football games. One way to play baseball. If you're right-handed, you put it on your left hand. Left-handed, you put it on your right hand. And I didn't even have a glove. I figured it out in my head, 10 years old. If I held the glove differently, if I held it like this, if I put it like this, now I can close it. I can catch the ball. Now I got a problem. I can throw the glove and the ball. But I got real good at catching the ball, flipping it up in the air, dropping the glove, catching it, throwing it. Now, I wasn't a very good baseball player. I never played varsity baseball. It wasn't my sport, but I could play softball. I could be the first base guy. I could go out and play catch with my kids. And the point is, hey, I'm not Superman. I just use that 30% extra, just like the blind people use 30%. I'm just using the extra that we all have. And that's really what I want to challenge all of us. Hey, let's just figure it out. I don't know your business. You don't know my business. But I do know we all have challenges, and we have to figure it out. Hey, I want to thank you for being here. It's been just an awesome opportunity. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
He has touched the lives of countless individuals beyond Willamette's walls and has taught his student athletes to do the same.
I think it's really important that we do some kind of community service. It's important to give back. It's a big relay race, and then now they got the baton. They got to hand it to somebody else.
You're helping people that maybe aren't strong enough to lift some of the stuff that we go out and help them do. It makes you feel real good about yourself.
Our motto at the university is not unto ourselves alone are we born, and so I think we need to live up to our motto.